Hi, I wanted to do a quick video just to remind you about multi-step equations. It's in your ISN 16, um, 17, and 18. And what I wanted to remind you was just how to get started to a two-step equation, even when we have decimals. Um, just to get to that point where we're solving a two-step equation, we want to get rid of fractions and decimals. So what I want you to look at is the place value. Because this is at the hundredth place value, if I multiplied every term by 100, then I wouldn't have to deal with decimals. So remember, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other, and that multiplication distributes. So you can multiply 100 by both of these terms, and as long as you do it to the right-hand side, you aren't changing anything. So you're just making it 50x plus 8 equals 168. Now you have a two-step equation you can solve. Get rid of the 8 and then divide by 50. If you have a fraction, for example, you want to look for the lowest common denominator and multiply every term by that to get rid of the fractions. So in that first one, it's going to be 15. You're going to multiply x over 3 by 15. And remember, 15 was picked because it's the lowest common denominator. 3 goes into 15. So then you can multiply 15 by 2x over 5. And you can multiply it on the right-hand side. You can multiply 15 by negative 7/15. You want to get rid of the denominator. So think that 3 is a common factor of 15. You are going to be left with 5x. 3 goes into this 5 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So you have minus, don't lose your signs, write them right below. 3 times 2 is 6x. And then 15 is a common factor, so that goes into each other evenly once. And now you just have to combine your like terms and solve your equation. It's easiest if we're going to get rid of the denominator. So when I look at this, you do have to remember you have to multiply both sides and everything in there by the lowest common denominator. And in this case, it's going to be 10. So when I multiply 10 times x plus 3 over 5, well, 5 goes into 10 evenly 2 times. When I multiply negative 3x over 10 by 10, that factor cancels out, and then I have to multiply the right-hand side. So here's what it'll simplify to with my messy writing. 2 times x plus 3, because I multiplied that term by 10, and 5 went into there 2 times, minus 3x, because I multiplied it by a common factor of 10, equals 70. Now you're going to go on to your next steps of solving multi-step equations. You have to distribute, combine like terms, and then solve. Let's look at some of those. So when you're solving any equations, first you distribute. That is when you have a number outside of a bracket. It means that A gets multiplied by every term inside that bracket. Then you need to combine like terms. If you have AX and BX, those are like terms because they have the same variable with the same exponent. Constants, 5 and 10, those are like terms because you can simplify those. Simplify the equation by undoing the reverse. If you were adding, you would subtract. If you were multiplying, you would divide. And always check your answers. So combining like terms, we're going to look for like terms with the same variables, and we can add them. So you're going to have, careful though, this is minus 13y. The negative is sticks to it. So 2y minus 7 equals 17. If you need to distribute, that means that 2 gets multiplied by both terms. So you would have 6n plus 18 equals 34. Or you might have to do both. 3x plus 36, when you distribute, minus x equals 8. Well, you got some like terms, so that's going to be your next step. You have 2x plus 36 equals 8. Now you have a two-step equation. Undo, minus the 36 from both sides, and then divide by 2. Minus 18, subtract 18 from both sides, rewrite your equation, and then divide by 6. Hopefully this is to help you remember. So here's what you're going to do. Clear any fractions or decimals. In this one, I would get rid of this decimal by multiplying every term by 100. So 10x plus 148 equals 10,020 minus 7x. Because what you do to one side, just distribute it. And now you can simplify both sides. You did the distributing. Combining like terms, this one, it just has a 10x and a constant on the left-hand side and a constant and a 7x on the right-hand side. So we don't have to combine like terms on this one. We need to add or subtract to isolate the term with the variable. I would say move like terms to the same side. So add, you want to move the 7x to the right-hand side. You have to do that by undoing the subtracting. So add 7x to both sides. Then you have 17x. You got a two-step equation. Plus 148 equals 1020. Isolate the term with the variable. So you got to move the constants. You're going to minus 148 from both sides. Rewrite your equation. So you have 17x. Oh, where did I write it? Equals. Oh, I had this written down. Let me do it on my calculator because it's been a long day. 1020 minus 148. You're going to have 872. And then your next step is to make that, you want to know what 1x is. Divide both sides by 17. And you're going to have, oh, not a nice number. X equals 51.3. Okay? Again, it's just about following these simple rules. If there are no fractions or decimals, you're moving to the next step. You would distribute. If there is no distributing, you'd move to the next step by combining like terms on both sides of the equations. So simplify both sides. You would get 3x minus 2 equals 2x plus 2. Now you have to move like terms to the same side. I always move my x's to the left. So when I read it, I can read my answer. I'll have x minus 2 equals 2, and I move my constants to the right. And then if I had a number in front, I would have to solve. You can always check your answer by plugging it back in, substituting it in for x to see if you got it right. So if there are no fractions and decimals, you distribute. 3x minus 3 equals 2x. This is a distributive property plus 6. Move your terms, like terms, to the same side. Move your x to the right and your constants to the left by doing the opposite. So you're going to have to subtract 2x from both sides. And then you're going to have to add 3 to both sides. Then if there was a numerical coefficient in front of the x other than 1, you would solve it. All right. Oh, I guess that was it. I thought I had one more example, and I guess I didn't. So hopefully that gives you a good reminder of how to solve multi-step equations. Okay, until next time.